I'm Dan, and this is 10,000 Hours of Indie, a podcast exploring new music and delving deeper into what goes on in the background of the independent music industry. I'm a musician and passionate music lover, and I wanted to delve deeper into new music in the independent scene around the world. I also saw this as a chance to help artists connect and share their stories, so if there's someone you hear and you want to find out more about, every podcast has links in the show description. Get involved, help this community grow, follow on the 10,000 Hours of Indie socials, you can find all the links in the show description. And also feel free to email me about anything music related, 10,000indie@gmail.com. I'm open to any ideas and love listening to your promos. GUITARPRAYER are a Cologne-based psychedelic noise rock trio. Soheyl Nassary, guitar and vocals, Spiro Kotsomitopoulos on drums and percussion, and Scharco on bass make up the band, who make a much bigger sound than their three instruments would suggest. They released their second album, I Am the Light I Am, on Worst Bassist Records in October, and claim it delves deeper than noise rock, touching on neo-psych meets noise, shoegazey drones, and cinematic chaos. All I know is it's a great record, so I had to chat with them. So I'm chatting with Soheyl. Welcome to the 10,000 Hours of Indie podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I have to start by asking about the unusual band name. Where did the idea for that come from?
Very, very funny story, because everybody's asking, what's that a shitty name and what's the story behind that? So I have to, maybe I should write an article about the origin of the name. I played before GUITARPRAYER in a, some might say, legendary noise rock band from Germany from 95 to 2015 called Nicofine. We opened for the legendary band Melt Banana from Japan. That was in 2010. And that was a totally strange experience for us, because the guys from Melt Banana didn't speak any words. And we had 3 or 2 gigs together, and the whole time there was always silent and just being kind to each other. And we were kind of European party people drinking and having fun, but they were quite quiet, silent in a way. At the last show in Cologne, the only reaction came from Ichiro Agata, the guitar player, who stand behind my amp and watched the whole show for the very first time. And after we were finished and I was packing my stuff, he just stopped me immediately, even on stage, and pointed on me and said, "You, GUITARPRAYER." I was kind of surprised, and I said, "Yes, I am the guitar player." So, because, you know, that's a Japanese thing that they cannot speak out the player thing. And I thought that day, if I'm going to do another band, I'm going to call it You GUITARPRAYER. That's the reason. That's going to be You, exclamation mark, GUITARPRAYER, question mark. And, you know, that was in 2010, and we started with a band. Afterwards, because all band members are actually label mates from back in the days, from the legendary Blue Noise Records label. We were all noise rock alternative bands, and after the show party, after show party, we always met and spoke and drank, and we always talked about maybe we should do a band, because we love each other and we have some stuff in common, and that's the story. And in 2016, we decided to meet and do that fucking band. And the first name which came out was like, you know what? I had that idea long ago. Let's call it GUITARPRAYER.
I think you win best name story, actually, so far.
I'm not going to mock anybody because of the pronunciation, but I thought the spiritual aspect of being a guitar player, and then the abstract thing with you. What does that mean? So that's the avant-garde aspect in the name, probably, but I don't care at all. That's the story which I have. That was a very cool show, by the way, as well. So there's something magical behind that for me, for instance.
I think sometimes when things aren't quite right, so, you know, not grammatically perfect or whatever, they stick in your mind because they're not right.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. And, you know, after 10 years, you're kind of, well, maybe I should change the name, because, you know, it's like it's wearing the same clothes, but that's the way it is.
As we've mentioned, you've just released your second album, I Am the Light I Am. Tell me about the sort of themes of the album and how it developed.
I don't know if I really want to tell the secret behind the lyrics and the subjects, because, you know, as an artistic expression, everybody should find something in it. But let's say general, there's just a kind of like mystical, spiritual aspect in the whole subjects, but it's in a way connected to the experiences all members had during these times, changes, losses, and everything else. We know from which song to the other what we are thinking about these songs and what's the subject of that thing. But I don't want to go explicitly to the lyrics and talk about what it would say because there's no message behind. So everybody should take the lyric, take the song title for itself, and take whatever you want from it. But there are a lot of personal things inside.
According to your press release, it took you a year to record the album as well. Did that include the writing process, or was that just the recording?
It was just a recording. Scharco, our bass player, he's actually a recording expert. He was actually a freelance studio. He had a freelance studio and producer by himself back in the days. But we didn't want to have him to have the own responsibility for that. But because but we are kind of from our all the knowledge we had 20 or 30 years from our other bands, we know how to produce by ourselves. So the whole process was actually we recorded by ourselves, and we needed someone to kind of like wanted to do the mixing outside the band. But we had some, other studios for the mix, but we were not quite happy with the results. So we had two or three mixes, but that was not the thing we were going to and looking for. Finally, we decided to do it by ourselves, and it took time again to do the production by ourselves. So the recording was kind of easy, but the mix, it took so long because we trusted first other experts, and the results were not the thing we were looking for, and then we had to do it by ourselves again. We only did the mastering at the Gergenhardt studio in Bonn, and we were happy with it. Because the only thing we wanted to have it very raw and very pure, like an old recording. And please do not do a modern production, because we don't like the modern productions which are made by a lot of metal or rock bands nowadays. It should sound very individual. So, and if you put a filter and template like the modern production skills, it sucks. And a lot of people, other experts we trusted first, they were very into that new approach of producing, which we were not into at all.
So how do you work as a band? Do you write some lyrics first, or is there a guitar riff comes first, or how do you develop a song?
Actually, we are all songwriters in a way. Scharco, our bass player, is a multi-instrumentalist. He plays everything. He's not singing. Spiro, the drummer, is also good in other stuff with synthesizers. And we think in music, not in instruments. The only thing which I am not good in is playing drums. I can do kind of like very, very basic, only bass drum and snare to have a beat in mind. Everybody has a song idea. We are recording it. I mean, I'm singing it and doing lyrics, and it's totally different ways to build up a song. Sometimes there's actually an idea in your head. For instance, when it comes from my perspective, I know I have a lyric or just a word or a sentence, and I build something about it, or a riff or something. Or sometimes I have a riff that's the same, or with the other guys, they have a drum pattern. And the cool thing about it, you can actually record it on your phone, or even use GarageBand or something else to do a draft of your idea you have. And then you play it to the others and say, you know what? That's the main idea. What about doing these and doing that? And then, in the meeting, we put it all together with, ideas. And sometimes we have jam sessions when somebody's playing a pattern, or I'm coming up with a chord or just a bass line, and then something develops. A song like Ace of Wands is actually the main draft is from a jam session. I mean, the jam session was something totally different, but it had the same drive, but without lyrics. But there was kind of like in that jam session, you have two or three riffs, patterns. Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe you should take best parts and work it as a song.
Okay. Favorite track?
Right now, it changes every day. Graviton is actually, I think Graviton is a very, very deep personal track, but Trans Surfer was and still is mine. my favorite track, my personal favorite track, but we all agree that Radio Guidance is a special hit, the last song on a record. We're very happy to end the record with that message. Let's say it that way.
I think mine is probably Mutiny in June because it's really dark, edgy, and it's got a great bass hook.
That's a very good example for a song which was developed from a jam idea. You know, we want to have a noise rock, back to the roots song in it with that approach. Actually, we're proud of a lot of songs. For instance, we have that song. It's actually compared to the other songs, the regular rock oriented song. Stereo Star is a standard regular song. First of all, that's a good song. Does it make it on a record? No, I don't think so, because we have a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, we thought, damn, that's a fucking good song. That's a good rocker, or call it what you want. It's got something sleazy, British, new wave of British heavy metal mixed with other Britpop stuff in it. And then we decided to put it on. And I love that song.
Your album cover has the three of you pictured in silhouette on what looks like a beach. What's the story behind the cover?
That's obviously us. I'm the cover designer for all the records we do because that's my job. I'm a freelance designer. I'm working even for the other bands I had. I did all the artwork. So the artwork process is very, very important for me as well. That's I wouldn't say 50%, but 33% of the whole thing, you know. If you spend a lot of time for the recording, for the songwriting, and, you know, the visual aspect is very important, for instance, for me. That's a self-made photography, and that was a hell of a job because you had to do a lot of shots, and that was in the Netherlands at the beach. With a selfie
like
stick remote, with a professional cam and you know, putting that thing together was a hell of a job. But finally, you got the right thing, and that's it. I can tell that was 1,000 shots to find that real one. So, and you know, I had that idea to be this silhouette thing. Maybe I can tell you the story behind the light and all that aspect. During this time, we all band members lost their fathers, and it's kind of like connected to that whole thing. And I don't know. There's something tickle behind that idea which came to the mind. I want to have that beat scene with the silhouettes which can stand even for the dead fathers. I don't know. You know, you have that idea and that's it. And at the end of the day, it reflects at itself. And afterwards, when you think about the light thing, and there's always kind of like that ghosty element or the spiritual element from the other world, and maybe the dads are watching us or something else. We thought afterwards, oh my God, this is funny. This is quite strange. And when you look after it, what we went through actually last years, that was the reason as well. We needed our time for healing because of our losses. So that's the reason we had as well.
Do you do all the artwork for your show posters as well? Because the most recent ones look amazing.
Yeah, that's all my work. Nobody else want to do. As a designer, I'm actually, you know, very, very into corporate design and you know, to have an own aesthetics. So that's not only my profession, but I know what it means to have that visual expertise. And it's very important for a band to have that visual, you know, competence in itself.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was always in a kind of like in love with vinyl artwork, especially vinyl, because it was so huge and all these metal artworks and all that stuff. I was very addicted to it. I don't know if it was the main aim. I came a designer, it was an accident, but there's always a hint. There's always something in you which finds a way for an expression.
Okay, let's move on to social media. Browsing through your Instagram and Facebook, it seems you know an awful lot of really good photographers because there's some cracking live shots of the band across your socials.
Yeah, definitely. We are so happy to have these guys. We are happy to have amazing friends where you can give them just a camera and say, please do some shots. And it looks always kind of amazing. And we are very, very happy and grateful about that. But most of the time, we are living in a social media visual communication world. Everywhere there's always someone with a good camera and they're acting and we are very happy about that. I mean, as a photographer, I do photography for myself. Even at the analog days, I went to concerts and made pictures of my favorite bands. We are very happy with all that. But the social media thing is really a full-time job, which I don't know how important it is, or maybe it's overrated. I still don't know. I know that you have to do something, but compared to our followers, we have more people who like us than the followership reflects.
Well, I
Yeah,
think it's also an age thing. I mean, we're a similar age, and of course, we
yeah, yeah,
started our lives, and there was no social media. You spent
yeah.
2 days, couple of weeks before the gig, going and putting up gig posters everywhere because that's the way it was done.
I think about the MySpace days. I remember that when the MySpace thing came, everybody had every band, and suddenly you were good friends with Michael Girard from the Swans, or I don't know, even the cool guys from music scene. And I remember that our first Nicofine US tour was made through MySpace. You had that connection. You asked clubs, because back in the days, even in the 90s, you had to travel to the US with a phone book in your hand and watch out for, we had kind of like a lot of tours to Europe and to United States with Nicofilm, my former band. And it was all done by to connection via social media. I mean, the last 10 years, it changed totally. Even Facebook, or the difference between Facebook or Instagram on Twitter, or I don't know what. We are not even on Twitter, We don't have stuff to tweet at all.
There's also quite a few cool shots of you posing with album covers as though you're part of them too.
This Sleep
Yeah,
Faces thing, yeah. Actually, this is quite old idea, because even as a teenager, you work with that. I have still analog shots with kind of like a White Lion artwork, or the Frank Zappa artwork putting on my face. This was not something unusual, working with all these sleep face thing. Actually, it became to Instagram kind of like a genre by itself, and hashtag by itself, doing all these sleep face stuff. We had so different ideas. We wanted to actually do a quiz as well, to kind of like do a artwork quiz, and everybody who finds out which album we are talking about, or you're kind of like, we had that actually twice, but there was no continuity in that idea, because it's a lot of work. But I still do on my private page, because as a vinyl collector, I love that sleep face thing.
So on to live shows. Judging from your Instagram pictures again, you seem to really enjoy playing live. And you've actually played with Hum, who I spoke with a couple of months ago.
Oh, yeah, of course. We're kind of like, we're in contact, because these guys are from Frankfurt and we're from Cologne. And we have all, we're same age, same underground scene, and same radio shows, same channels, and people, same point of interest. So definitely fantastic guys. Yeah, we played actually together 6 months ago, I think, in Frankfurt.
So the final question, what music
Yeah.
are you listening to at the moment that people who listen to the podcast may not be aware of and should take some time to check out?
Right now, I listen to a lot of stuff, but I already told it. The last years, I was totally into the whole Mark Lanegan discography. That's my personal taste right now. The whole Mark Lanegan discography. And one of my favorite artists at the same time, because I'm more in a slow sound mood right now, is Imad Wasif, or Imad Wasif, a very, very talented musician. I think he's from Los Angeles. The Void is a fantastic record. Everything. That's what I would recommend right now. And when it comes to old stuff, I could recommend every David Sylvian record from Japan right now.
So for anyone wishing to find out more about the band, you have a website, youguitarprayer.com, and you're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Bandcamp. I Am the Light I Am is out now on all streaming platforms and via Bandcamp on 140-gram clear vinyl. Soheyl, thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, good luck with 2026 and hope you get to play loads of shows, because it sounds like you're itching to get on stage.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe we see you in Helsinki.